Welcome to the How Did They Do It Real Estate Podcast. Have you ever wondered how people succeed in real estate and what steps they took to get there? If so, this podcast is for you. Your hosts, Sayla and Eileen Prack, interview top experts in the real estate community to share with you their real estate journey and how they achieved massive success. Our goal is to provide you with valuable real estate resources and to help you apply it to your own real estate goal. Welcome, everyone, to today's episode of the How Did They Do It Real Estate Podcast. I'm your host, Eileen Prack, and today our guest is Cody Yeh. He's a first-generation immigrant from Taiwan who came to Canada at the age of 18, went to university as an engineer, made a career out of it, but ended up pivoting his career path, and he is now a stock and options coach, a YouTube influencer, a real estate investor, and more importantly, building an empire to help out more people to reach financial independence sooner. So Cody, thank you so much for coming on the show. How are you doing today?
Good. Thanks for having me, Ali.
So Cody, can you give us a little bit more of an insight into your background, how you get started, especially as a first generation immigrant, some of the challenge that you had to overcome breaking into this space. And, you went through the traditional path of getting your education, working the 9 to 5, but you made this life-changing decision into entrepreneurship. Can you talk to us about your background and how did you come up and make that type of decision?
Yeah, no problem. I'll dive right into that. So before the age of 18, I was in Taiwan. I was a sort of a YOLO kid. I was good at school, good at sports, the popular kid kind of type, not very cocky type. But then I have not much of ambition or goal in life because of the Asian, the way that the educational system is training us to be another good worker. So we never know what we really want. It's just, you have to be good at everything kind of type. So it's not until I really, came to Canada with a student visa, then I realized, okay, I got to make all these decisions for myself now. And I'm responsible for all of it. That's when my first big decision was, I chose engineering to be my profession. I thought it was going to be life at that point. And really the motive was that this is the fastest way to get a decent pay job. I'm very honest with that. That was the pure motive. Not medical school because it's too long, not business because who knows, engineer is a safe way, right? Because I don't want to become a burden for the family because international tuition was very expensive. And guess what? While I was going through engineering school, I found my true passion is really the finance, accounting, investing side. So that I started playing with stocks. And that's when I start that. And a lot of time at nighttime, I go to a lot of class, which I didn't sign up to. I just sit in there for accounting, marketing, finance, corporate finance, and all that. And I found out I was a lot happier there, but I'm not going to give up my engineering degree. Then I end up having a business minor. Then, of course, after graduation, I worked for an engineering company, Honda, the car company. I was a project manager for 6 years. And, you say a 9 to 5 job is really like a 7 to 5, 6 job because I was really trying to climb. I thought that was the fastest way to save up my first down payment. And, little did I know that, it was actually the fastest way I know, but it was a very slow way because tax takes away a lot of the net profit. All right. So it's not until 2016 when I first bought one property, 2017, another one, 2019, 2 more. I was using all my hard-earned overtime. And all of a sudden, as the price goes up, across the world, especially in Canada and US, then we realized, wow, we're multimillionaires. Was I really smart? Not really, but I was choosing the right way to get smarter. And, in the meantime, I was I had my day trading coach for 2 years. I was trading at night while I was having long day job. At first I was losing money and then it works out well first year, second year, but then I realized the return on time is very low and the stress level is really high. And that's when I start, stabilizing the stock option strategy I'm teaching now to people where I help hundreds of alumni already within 1 year to help them make 1 to 4% per month. They only spend less than 30 minutes per day. Some of them spend less than 30 minutes per week. So that's where the real estate is good for net worth generation or for people to get in as a leverage way. And the stock option where it splits out the cash flow. And then, I'm going to get right into it. It's like Real estate, as real estate goes up, we can pull out the capital, put it into our trading account, make 1 to 4% per month, which is better than a lot of the mutual fund. And then we can split up more cash flow to buy more real estate. As the real estate goes up, we refinance and put it back out, right? Just another way on top of our full-time job or full-time business to expedite our wealth building process.
So when you bought your first property back in 2016 and you made that first move, how did you come to that initial decision to buy a property? And, how did you, not being originally from Canada, how did you understand the ins and outs of the market, the real estate industry, and how did you get educated on that side of things?
Yeah, great question. And at first, you know what, I have a lot of friends around my age were telling me that, Cody, just rent. Buying, it doesn't make sense. The biggest question, right? The buying or are you going to buy or are you going to rent? Right. And then, I started getting educated from all the local meetups, all the local real estate seminars, the real estate webinars. So when I'm not day trading, I'm actually attending. I'm driving 1 hour one way because I was far away. So I drive out 1 hour one way to attend those seminars to get more of it. So instead of getting comfortable and listening to the friends who are doing the same thing as me, I get to learn from the people who I want to become, who has the freedom, and who's wealthy, not rich. Wealthy as in they have the time to share, they're happy. Learn from them and how do they do it? And I'm like, wow, that could be a very potential way to do things. And that's why, I save up even faster to buy the first house, right? And then it just snowball from there.
Coming from an Asian background also, I'd love to talk about when you decided to make that transition, going from your full-time job, W-2, into entrepreneurship. And, the traditional path is, like you said, going to get your education, going to get your degree. You were a very successful W-2 employee. And then, it's from a family standpoint, you're successful, you've made it. You're somebody who, your family looks at it and they're like, hey, like he's doing really well in Canada. And then how did you make that decision to switch over into doing your entrepreneurship? And then how did that kind of conversation go with your family and then the perception of it?
Yeah, definitely coming from the Asian family side. They thought I have a good job, I support myself, and I don't ask money from my parents. Right. So really, when I started this entrepreneurship, the first year, I really kept it quiet, kept it to myself or just my partner. I didn't tell them whenever they call, I say, yeah, everything's great. Everything's good kind of thing until I start having some results. And I'm kind of like, hey, just so you guys know, I already quit my job a year ago. They were like, what? Right. So they were like, definitely shocked. And it's because I have different source of income through stock option, real estate, multiple active business, so that now I can actually support them. And like one of my parents actually still wants me to get a job, and I politely reply that if you want me to get a job, then I might not make enough money to support you that way, right? So that's still definitely a talk. It's not easy, but at the end of the day, the reason why I make this decision might not be for everyone. Just be very honest. I know I'm kind of unique in the way that I don't give up. I'm unique in the way I'm very efficiency freak to that point, kind of. And I just know I have more potential than working a full-time job. Yes, it's taking a risk, but that was the best time in my late 20s or mid 20s. That was the best time to take the risk. Is either then or never. Because to me, that was the easiest time to take a risk when I have no kids, no family, not much of a parents to support, even though I started supporting them. And that's why I took the leap of faith. So I did all my risk management analysis, and I have like a year or two all saved up. Like the worst case, I'll sell one of my property and I can live on for 10 years, no problem. So that was my worst case. So I know my worst case. The rest is just, why am I not doing it? I know I have more potential than that, right? And just very exciting. I really enjoyed the journey of it. But if it's someone say, you know what, Cody, I don't want to do anything after a full-time job. I don't want to do anything on the weekend. I don't want to do anything part-time, then this might not be for you. So it's not for everyone. I just want to throw a disclaimer out, but I know I was working 2-3 jobs already, regardless whether I have a full-time job or not. So, I'm willing to put in that and keep learning, right?
So for you, as you were building up, what were the first couple of things that you did as an entrepreneur to set yourself up for success later on? And what was the biggest challenges that you had to overcome in order to build yourself up to where you are today?
I think the biggest thing for me was I saw a YouTube video and it was so uncomfortable. A year or 2 years ago, if you asked me to speak to a camera, right now we're looking at a camera, we can talk for an hour. That was ridiculous to me. I was like stuttering left, right, and center, right? So I built all those tolerance up. And I don't feel uncomfortable anymore. But back then I have to do all my own scripting, planning. I don't know what camera to use, what microphone, where do I set up the lights? That was all crazy. And I'm writing the scripts, right? So back then, that was so painful, but that was the biggest thing I have done. And a lot of the followers came from there because that was organic. I was putting in my time. I wasn't paying for marketing, right? So I was building an organic business. And now when it makes sense, if I need to pay for marketing, I have the marketing budget for it, right? So I think really like yourself, building a platform to raise authority, share to people, and really just having that sharing to people mindset, helping more people mindset, that really comes a long way.
So, what are the similarities that you found as you've been investing in both the real estate side and on the stock side? Most people are familiar with stocks and bonds and how that kind of works in terms of like
Mhm.
the management of it, but maybe they're not as familiar with the real estate side on how they can also create passive income through investing in real estate as well. What are some of the similarities that you've come across?
Yeah. So real estate and stocks are similar in many ways, but different in many ways. You're like, Cody, what are you talking about? So the similarity is that real estate and stocks is a long-term game. People who treat it as a short-term game can make a lot of money or lose a lot of money, but they're they are their worst enemy if they treat it as a short-term game. For example, if I'm gonna trade stock option on a stock, I'm already okay to own the stock for more than 10 years. Same as you guys, right? When you guys come up with a real estate deal, when you put it together, you guys kind of have at least 3 to 5 years horizon. If it's earlier than that, yeah, we got lucky. Maybe not lucky, did all your risk analysis, but yes, we're lucky, right? Same thing as stocks, but because the stock price moves so fast, because it's so easy to transact instead of a real estate, you gotta have a broker fee, a commission, lawyer's fee, like all these corporation stuff. So it's a lot slower. And guess what? People think more. But in stock market, it's just a swipe right away. So a lot of people make very irrational decision. And I would say that's the biggest difference. But in the long term, there's a reason why Warren Buffett wins consistently beating the market for 60 years is because he has the patience. He is doing the right thing. And he celebrate even if he lose money doing the right thing. But 99% of the time he's doing the right thing. Right. And I think a lot of people has a wrong mentality come in is that I want to make money quick. I want to turn $100 into $1,000 one year. How can I do that, Cody? And I think those are the people that are not our best clients, customers, or friends. I'm not sure if you agree to that as well.
Yeah, no, definitely, especially within real estate. You really have to look at it as a long-term play. It's more like a marathon than a sprint. So you're just working over time, and over time with the compounding effect, you're able to create wealth for yourself over a long period of time. It's not a get rich kind of scheme where you can turn your investment, double it within 1 to 2 years or a couple months or anything like that. You have to think long term and be willing to put in the time and the effort that it takes to continuously grow that wealth.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, totally agree with that. And, just like in real estate, another similarity is that in real estate, you want to get a below market value deals, right? Everyone wants that pocket listing or maybe directly from the seller kind of thing. So the less people see that deal, the more likely you're going to get a better price as a buyer, right? As a seller is the opposite. You want more exposure, right? But when we're investing, we're on the buyer side. In stock options, the same thing. You want to buy off market deals. But in stock market, the strategy I'm teaching, you can actually get paid like an insurance company to basically agree to buy a stocks you want to buy at a cheaper price, and you get paid a premium to do that. And that's the power of option. So stocks, buy and sell easy. The next level is the option. You can treat yourself as a casino owner or an insurance broker, as in you get paid a premium, agreeing to buy something that you want to buy anyway at the current price, but you agree to buy at a cheaper price, right? So to me, that's another similarities between the stock option and the real estate, right?
So, in terms of the financial landscape of things and how people today are looking at their financial situations and how to create wealth down the road, what does the environment today look like in terms of the mentality versus like how maybe the traditional path will look like a couple of years ago or a different generation?
Yeah, I'll say, you can probably agree to this, is that right now the speed is a lot faster, but doesn't mean the speed is faster, doesn't mean everyone's doing the right thing. I think there's a lot of things happening in the market, a lot of different products that we might not fully agree to, but are the next generation, Gen Z, right? All they know is the phone and the screen, everything they could do is through their phone. But doesn't mean that, to me, I don't fully agree that we're moving in that direction. And I think some of the things are short term, short lived, but some of the technology will be long term direction. So you got to be very careful with that. And something that will never go away is a good company. Something that will never go away is a piece of land. Something that will never go away is the population will probably continue to grow, right? So there's only a handful of really good companies, right? So as long as you invest in them, or a real estate side, as long as you invest in a city or property type, or area that you know it really well, and you know the pros and cons of it, and you can live with the worst case scenario, I think that's how you win long term. So always look at the risk, but don't look at the return first. Look at what's the worst case. Are you okay with that? Do you have a mitigation? Right? That's the way I look at things and how you win in the long term.
For those people who are looking to start creating and building up their financial wealth and creating that financial independence for themselves, you're also a coach yourself. And so for those people who you're coaching and the people that you're meeting who are looking to start building up that wealth, what are some of the couple of things that they can do to get started on their journey to creating that wealth long term?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think first of all is admit that you need to get uncomfortable. Because whatever we learn in school, we never learn about relationship. We never learn about finance. We never learn about investing. I took a lot of stocks course, option course, accounting course, but it's all about the mechanism of things. But it's not about what's the impact to your life kind of way. So you got to kind of unlearn what you learn and then start learning the new way, and learn from people who you respect, who you want to become, but not listen to the people who are the same as you. There's a reason why they're there, because they keep doing the things you are doing. So that's why they're there. But if you start kind of reverse engineer how others who you're following, you want to become, are doing things differently, and even that you just be aware of things, starting to do 20% of that thing, you will get there a lot faster, right? And just be open to new things, and then do analysis, try it out small, right? It's more important than just keep doing analysis and not doing anything, right? You heard about the analysis paralysis problem, right? So just be aware of it, learn it, take action. As long as you're okay with the worst case scenario. Hey, if it's 5%, 10% of your portfolio, I'm pretty sure it's worth a try. And most of the time, you will be surprised by the positivity of it.
So what are you focused on next, Cody?
Oh, for me, I was chatting with you this offline. I want to create a podcast as well, to help more people like yourself, like myself, whether they have a full-time job, or don't have the full-time job, they want to invest passively through real estate, actively through real estate, or they want to just spend 30 minutes per day. If they have a bigger account, like $500,000, $1 million, cash sitting on the sidelines, or sitting with their financial advisor, and they just say, hey, Cody, you know what? I want to make 1 to 4% per month. And I want to do this anywhere in the world, just through my phone, spend less than 30 minutes per day, or maybe 30 minutes per week. that stock option, right? But then for me, I think the next step will be just building the empire to make more people aware of what we're doing and helping more people out. And I think that's part of a very, very, very exciting journey for me. Of course, there's other active business I'm building, getting more deal flows and all that, but just nothing is as exciting as, just helping more people out, helping the people like ourselves who are immigrants or who are ready to go and just kind of afraid of, they need a little bit push, right? They need someone they trust to push them a little bit, right? Most of my alumni, hundreds of them told me, Cody, you should have just pushed me a bit more earlier. I'm like, well, who am I to push a bit more earlier? You didn't have to trust and all that, right? So to gain that trust, gain that authority, and help out more people. And we know we're doing the right things in our mind, right? And the results basically tell the facts, right? And that's how we want to care for.
How is this decision to become your own entrepreneur, to establish your business right now, sharing your message with as many people as possible, how has that impacted your life so far?
You feel good. First of all, you feel good. And it's not as scary as you thought. At first, when I show my face on YouTube or get on podcasts, I was actually very scared. I'm like, I don't know what's going to happen. And people going to punch me in the face on the street. I really don't know. But so far, it's been 2 years, a little more than that. I'm still okay. I'm sure you're still, you look very healthy and beautiful. So I'm gonna get punched on the street. And I think we bring a lot of positive energy. A lot of people just message me after different podcasts or YouTube videos. Just, Cody, you're so inspiring, and this is what I did. And I'm just, every time I see those messages, it's really worth it for me to stick my head out, right, and to do all this. And it feels really good. And at the same time, you build the authority, right? You have a lot of followers, the right followers, not just any followers, the right followers who want to reach the financial freedom and retire early in their life. And it's just a vehicle. Which vehicle do you want to choose? Or you can choose all, right? Real estate, stock option. I even have, infinite banking concept, policies, have different active business. So the more income stream you have, the more recession proof you are, the less worried I am if any of them all of a sudden crash or something happen, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And so if there's one thing that you knew now about real estate investing or starting your own entrepreneurship journey, that you wish you knew when you first started, what would that be?
Like, I don't want to sound cliche, but I wish I have the guts to hire someone who already got to where I want to be. Because as fast as I am at absorbing things, integrating things together, it still took me a good 4 or 5 years to get to where I am. Well, it's actually more than that because I was day trading and all that. So if I could hire someone who's already there and believe in more in what he said and take action on it, I will get here a lot faster, right? But it's very scary for people to do that, right? Because it's out of their comfort zone, out of my own comfort zone. And I consider myself already, quite courageous in trying new things. So if I could start all over again, I will literally go hire a coach, right? I have so many different coaches and stocks and options. I'm still taking different courses, right? I'm not ashamed of telling that. I want to take more courses so I learn on my own to improve my skills and also bring the value back to all my followers. All right. So the moment I stop growing or learning, I think that's the moment I stop having value. Right. So I'll say keep growing, but there's a shortcut. And you have to be willing to pay for the price and take action for that shortcut. Okay. So that's the advice I'll give.
Yeah, no, I totally resonate with that because it's a big mindset shift too. But if you're thinking about it, where's your best investment going to go? It's back into yourself. We're willing to put in thousands of dollars into our education, to go to school, go to college and get a great education. But when we actually think about investing in ourselves, and it for some reason, it's a much more difficult concept to grasp. But when you change it and you flip it and you're like, well, I'm the best investment for myself and for my future. Why wouldn't I do that? And so it's a big different mindset shift. But once you do that, you can definitely cut down the learning curve, rely on leverage other people's expertise to pull you up faster. And like you said, cut down the learning curve.
Yeah, I definitely double down on that. And I have a lot of alumni who are doctors, physicians, who are high income earners. And they told me that, Cody, now that I know your background, I learned stock options and some real estate from you. I wish I didn't go to MBA. Again, I'm not bashing MBA or anything, or CFA or any of those. I actually have all those books. But to be honest, it was very broad. And sometimes, most of the time, was actually outdated. I was taught to people who want to work for a big corporation, right? But not necessarily going to be directly benefited to you as a person. So there's a lot of like good courses out there, or mastermind, right? For like-minded people to connect out there. There's a lot of those. And a lot of time, it's a quite lonely journey. So you kind of need the like-minded people to keep you accountable. And when you're seeing other people are doing great things, you're kind of like, come on, I am a bit smarter than that, or I can work a bit harder than that. And then that's a very friendly competition, right? And then the right mastermind, the right courses will really bring you to the next level. And very soon, if you look back, I'm going to be like, oh, wow, I didn't know I come that far, right? And you will feel really good. Like, to me, it's not what I achieve. I feel good. I don't count the money I have. I do know all that, but it's the journey. That was so exciting. So what's next? And doing all the risk analysis. And if I spend this money, this is kind of the ROI. What's the biggest risk? If I'm okay with it, I'm going to move forward. And the continued growing is very fun too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Cody, thank you so much for coming on the show today and sharing your story with us. I definitely appreciate, you sharing your expertise and your journey with us today. And for our listeners out there who are more interested in learning more about you as well, where's the best place that they can go?
Yeah, we can, the easiest thing is probably go on Google and type in Cody Yeh, CODY space YEH. Or, if you could do that, you can leave down my Facebook group for stock option. There's more than 4,000 people, like-minded people. It's free to join. You can leave that link in the bottom if people want to join, hear more of what my alumni have to say, some case study, a lot of value-added videos. I run Facebook Live every Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern time. Feel free to join that, and I can throw down the application link for people to fill the application if they're like, Cody, let's go, right? Kind of thing. Then we can assess that and see if we're a good fit, right? Otherwise, there's social media. You can type in Cody Yeh. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook. I'm all over.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much again for your time, Cody.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you for listening to our podcast today, brought to you by Bonavest Capital. We would really appreciate it if you can go to iTunes right now and leave a rating and written review. Also, please don't forget to subscribe so you can always get the latest episodes. You can also connect with us on Facebook, How Did They Do It Real Estate. We'd love to hear your feedback and any topics that you're interested in for future episodes. Lastly, to learn more about us, you can go to bonavestcapital.com and fill out the Contact Us page so you can speak to us directly. Nothing on the show should be considered as specific personal advice. Please consult your legal, tax, and real estate professionals for individualized advice.